Summary for Chapter 7, titled, The Moral and Ethical Conduct of Our Political Leadership, WWJD versus WWSD, delves into the moral responsibilities of political leaders and their conduct. Addressed as a plea to religious leaders, the chapter presents a comparison between What Would Jesus Do? WWJD, and What Would Satan Do? WWSD, in the realm of political leadership. The chapter raises a series of questions that revolve around evaluating political behavior from a moral standpoint and its impact on society. The chapter begins with a heartfelt appeal for guidance and action, highlighting the collective responsibility of those who believe in God's teachings. It emphasizes the importance of honesty, integrity, and compassion in the role of political leaders. The comparison is drawn between the positive influence of leaders aligned with Jesus' teachings and the potentially detrimental effects of leaders lacking moral integrity, which could play into Satan's intentions to sow discord and mistrust. The narrative presents a series of thought-provoking questions, each addressing a different facet of the interplay between faith, politics, and ethical conduct. The focus is on how Jesus' teachings can provide guidance in selecting leaders who prioritize citizen well-being, transparency, and accountability. Conversely, the narrative explores the consequences of leaders lacking moral integrity, leading to corruption, disillusionment, and manipulation by exploiting divisions among political figures. The chapter underscores the significance of concepts such as love, empathy, and servant leadership, as exemplified by Jesus. It argues for leaders to give priority to vulnerable members of society and strive for unity over division. In contrast, it highlights how political polarization and partisanship can be exploited by negative forces for their own purposes. Political polarization and partisanship can serve as fertile ground for negative forces to exploit and advance their own agendas. These forces, often driven by self-interest or malevolent intentions, manipulate these divisions in society to achieve various aims that are detrimental to the well-being of the nation and its citizens. Here's how political polarization and partisanship can be exploited by negative forces. 1. Amplification of extremism. Negative forces thrive on extremism and radical ideologies. When political polarization becomes entrenched, extremists on both ends of the spectrum are emboldened. These forces manipulate and amplify extreme viewpoints to fuel anger, resentment, and conflict, thereby destabilizing society and creating opportunities for their own influence. 2. Creation of divisive narratives. Negative forces exploit political polarization by crafting narratives that further divide society. They emphasize differences, play on fears, and distort information to deepen ideological divides. By doing so, they weaken the sense of unity and common purpose that is essential for a functioning society. 3. Undermining trust in institutions. When polarization is severe, negative forces undermine trust in institutions such as the government, media, and other pillars of democracy. They exploit the lack of consensus to spread misinformation, discredit legitimate sources of information, and erode public confidence in these institutions, leaving the population vulnerable to manipulation. 4. Manipulation of emotions. Negative forces exploit emotional triggers associated with political polarization. They use fear, anger, and resentment to manipulate public sentiment and divert attention from critical issues. By stoking these emotions, they redirect focus away from genuine policy debates and sow discord for their own benefit. 5. Obstruction of progress. Polarization often leads to legislative gridlock and an inability to enact meaningful policies. Negative forces thrive in this environment of stagnation, as it allows them to prevent positive changes that could counter their interests. They encourage obstructionism and capitalize on the resulting frustration to further their own goals. 6. Fueling conspiracy theories. Political polarization can give rise to conspiracy theories that reinforce partisan divisions. Negative forces exploit these theories to create confusion, sow doubt about established facts, and further fracture society along ideological lines. 7. Promotion of identity politics. By exacerbating identity-based divisions, negative forces can exploit political polarization to advance agendas that prioritize the interests of specific groups over the collective well-being. This can lead to exclusion, discrimination, and societal fragmentation. 8. Erosion of social cohesion. As polarization deepens, social cohesion weakens. Negative forces take advantage of this by promoting discord, mistrust, and even hostility among different segments of the population. This weakens the fabric of society and makes it easier for them to exert influence. In summary, negative forces exploit political polarization and partisanship to further their own interests by inflaming divisions, spreading misinformation, undermining institutions, and obstructing progress. Recognizing these tactics is crucial for promoting a more united and resilient society that is less susceptible to manipulation and more focused on constructive dialogue and cooperation. The narrative also discusses forgiveness, reconciliation, and the importance of finding common ground among political leaders for the greater good. It contrasts this collaborative approach with the potential outcomes of leaders lacking moral guidance, potentially resulting in public cynicism, apathy, and disengagement. Throughout the chapter, there is a call to religious leaders to draw insights from Jesus' teachings to guide political conduct, fostering a government that serves the people with integrity. The ultimate aim is to encourage readers to reflect on the profound influence that moral and ethical conduct, or its absence, among political leaders can have on the welfare of society and the nation as a whole. May our collective efforts be guided by the wisdom of God, inspiring hope and healing in a world that yearns for truth and love. With sincerest devotion, your fellow believers and shepherds of the faithful.